So, Forest of Myth then. You want to be heading out the northern way. Not that one, but that one, yes. Controller is back in Vargorm's capable hands. A bit rusty, perhaps, but capable nevertheless.
Oh, he has so much confidence in me. He should not.
It's fine. It's gonna be fine.
It's gonna be fine, and I love myself off a cliff.
So you want to be going across the bridge as if you were going to the area. And we're gonna veer off, as it were.
It's
Right trigger to gas. Gas. I'm gonna step on that gas. And then to the right. Up in the corner.
that corner or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Need for Speed.
Boar edition.
Yeah.
Boar Swamp.
Ah!
That I was trying to workshop something. I'm not sure that works.
No.
So that's like a house we're going through, I guess.
I guess. Was it gate at least?
Like the first Need for Speed Most Wanted is fucking good.
Yeah.
Like the music in that game.
Now I can understand why it's called the Forest of Myth, really.
Yeah. They live in like big stumps.
Big stumps. Hey look, it's a deco tree.
Kind of, actually.
It sure is quiet here.
He gives you the great deco gift of shit.
There's trouble on the way, and
You can pick up.
You know, a little optimism now and then wouldn't hurt, Vice.
Oh,
such
hello.
cheek.
Hi.
Hi.
Beware the words.
The words? What do you mean?
Contagious words. Those who dream.
Those who dream?
Hold a moment. There is a strange new sensation
So
in
you
my
might have
mind.
noticed the text box changed a little bit. Vice's voice rose in a quizzical way.
It is not quizzical.
What's going on?
The villager's body shuddered as he slowly opened his eyes.
Perhaps we should start by asking this man.
Who are you?
We heard something happened to this village, so we came to see if we could help.
Oh, they skipped because he says his name. I see. I'm Bruce, this is Vice. The mayor stared at Bruce and Vice.
If you can speak to me, I must have caught you in my dream.
In your dream?
The mayor explained. In the past few weeks, a mysterious disease called the Death Dream has spread across the Forest of Myth. Those who caught it were cursed to fall asleep and live forever within the world of their own dreams. The village mayor had determined the Death Dream was spread from person to person by spoken words, but before he could learn more, the disease took him as well. Vice stared at the mayor, his mouth twitching slightly.
Now see here.
He said,
Are you saying that we have been absorbed into your dream?
Well, yes.
said the mayor.
I think you have.
In other words,
Said Bruce.
we've caught the death dream?
Before the mayor could confirm Bruce's suspicion, Vice exploded with rage.
Ridiculous, preposterous, completely unfathomable on every conceivable level. I don't even recall falling asleep.
That's just how the death dream works.
Though polite, the mayor was clearly trying to brush aside the book's remarks.
My remarks are not to be brushed aside, fool.
So are you catching that he is...
Actually seeing.
Yeah.
The mayor twisted his mouth into an embarrassed grimace and quickly changed the subject to who Bruce had seen and what they had discussed since coming to the village.
Something there must have caused you to enter my dream.
Said the mayor.
A certain conversation, a specific word, something.
And now it's all back. Bruce and Vice racked their brains but could find no easy solutions. There were simply too many words to consider. Too much random chatter. Too many meaningless conversations.
Grimoire Vice does not engage in meaningless conversations.
The mere suggestion that Vice chose his words carelessly seemed to sting his pride.
It does not seem to sting my pride, you bloated gasbag of a narrator.
Okay, so full fucking fourth wall down. Or is it?
It has demolished it utterly.
Irritated, Vice looked skywards, as if searching for answers in the heavens. Wait, what did you want to say?
Nothing.
Okay.
I
Just,
was doing no such thing.
just shout if you
Just
want to.
leave me alone already.
The anger created by his harsh words bled over to Bruce like a contagion. Wait, said Bruce suddenly. Did someone just say contagion? Yes, I believe so. What of it? Well, the villager told us to watch out for contagious words, right? The mayor leaned forward with renewed interest, pushing a startled Vice aside in the process. You must have said something, right? Asked the mayor. Some specific combination of words. What was it? It was about dreaming, or something that dreams, or what the hell was it? A sheep! Cried Vice suddenly, blurting out the first thing that popped into his head. The others stared at him for a moment before slowly shaking their heads. A few more minutes of thought, Bruce's face suddenly lit up. Remember, he said. Those who dream. That's what he said. I'm sure of it. At this, the mayor produced a thick sheaf of papers from his pocket. He flipped through them a few times before finally nodding his approval at Bruce. That sounds right, he said, as a stray sheet of paper fluttered to the ground. My notes also mentioned something about that, but it was the last thing you heard before you fell asleep. The mayor shook his head, his warm pencil stub tracing lines across a lone piece of paper. For the last month, I've done nothing but study the disease we call the death dream, he said. I mean, I am the mayor, right? It's my job to protect people from whatever comes along, but I never expected a couple of outsiders to start entering people's dreams. The mayor paused, a grimace crossing his face. I should probably be taking notes or something. Vice immediately fired back. I applaud the forces of will it takes to research a disease in your dreams, he said, but perhaps we should bend your efforts to escaping this place instead of trying to understand it.
It does make me think he's not talking anymore, so where did he go?
Who?
Vice.
No, this is Vice.
Yeah, but he's not talking to the narrator.
Well, it's not voiced anymore. This is Vice talking about. The mayor's hand tightened around his pencil, snapping off the tip. I've tried to escape. From the very first moment I realized I was locked inside my own dream, I've been looking for a way out, but I don't think it exists. I mean, this is my dream, right? If there was an exit, I'd know about it. He paused for a moment, his unfocused eyes staring at nothing. My village was beautiful, he said to no one in particular, and it was filled with the most wonderful people you could ever hope to meet. Once this disease took hold, things changed. It's like someone took a sponge and soaked all the color out of our lives. I just want us to be whole again. I want us to be free. And I won't stop trying until that happens. Bruce nodded in agreement. Huh? Wait a second, I didn't nod? Look, if we can be of any help, said Bruce, just ask. Now hold on, I did not just say that. Okay, so now he's... Silence, cried Vice. The Grimoire looked from Bruce to the mayor and back again, his face filling with confidence. Wait, the face?
Face?
Vice's face? Like, there is a face on the book cover. But how the fuck does that fill with confidence?
I don't know.
Grimoire Vice's face is always confident, thank you very much. Now see here, Mayor. You told us that nothing can exist in this dream without you knowing of it. But yet you seem surprised to see us when we first arrived, yes? The mayor slowly raised his head, realization dawning on his face. Oh my god, he said. You're right. You're right. I had no idea you were coming. The human imagination is a limitless engine, said Vice, and dreams are the fuel. If you can imagine an exit, then it must be so. With your permission, we shall search it out. Thank you, said the mayor. I don't know how I can repay you. Payment is not required. We are as eager as you to be done with this place. The mayor suddenly felt as if he could breathe again. He'd almost forgotten what it was like. Good luck, you two, he called at the departing forms of Bruce and Vice. We're all counting on you. This is quite well written, by the way. I don't know if you noticed, but the actual prose is like really quite good.
Mm-hmm.
As Bruce slowly faded into the misty forest, the mayor was struck by a sense of déjà vu. I saw this man once before, he thought, but where? Bruce's mood darkened as he trudged through the forest. And the fucking music changed as well. Hours earlier, when the beauty of the place was still a new thing, he'd been confident they could get in, find the exit, and be home in time for dinner. But the deeper they went, the more the forest closed in around him. The mist made it difficult to see more than a foot in any direction, and moss-covered rocks seemed determined to twist his ankle. More than once he'd been forced to steady himself on the rough bark of a tree, and his hands now left small trails of blood on everything he touched. Additionally, Vice was proving to be a spectacularly poor traveling companion. Unhindered by either terrain or physical effort, he spent most of his time urging Bruce to pick up the pace and grumbling about their slow progress. Finally, after Vice mutters something about legless turtles being more adept at navigating the environment, Bruce snapped. Okay, Vice, grab it for a second, would you? You don't have to walk. Bruce leaned against a tree and tried to stretch the knots from his back. How can this stupid force be so big? He muttered to himself. The moment the words tumbled from his mouth, a cacophony of insects sprang to life. Every imaginable form of buzz, click, and hiss roared out at a volume that rattled his teeth. Bruce slapped his hands over his ears and screamed to be heard. Vice, what's going on? Bruce could see Vice's mouth moving, but he might as well have been shouting in a tornado. The insect screamed, the force howled, and then, just as Bruce's ears seemed ready to tear from his head and go running for cover, the sound diminished. Hesitantly, he removed the hand from his left ear and listened to the creatures of the woods. Shri, 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 shri. Shakakak, 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 chikak-chi, chikak-chi, chikak-chi. Woo woo woo-ma, woo woo woo-ma, shik shik seek, shik 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 seek. This is what I do for a whole pages.
All the noises I can make with Bob Thiessen. The no show.
Yeah. As the insect symphony dimmed another decibel, Bruce began to detect patterns in the sound. This isn't random, he thought. It's not just white noise, it's something else. The insects weren't just calling out. They were asking a question.
Ooh, changing the music.
Yeah. 1 with it is lacking. 2 with it is ideal. Don't press anything just yet.
Yeah.
3 with it is dangerous. What is it? Do you know this riddle? This is
Never heard of this riddle. 1 is lacking, 2 is ideal, 3 is dangerous.
1 with it is lacking. 2 with it is ideal.
20 is possibles.
Possibles, really?
I mean, 1 portion is never enough to fill.
So anyways, do you want to have a serious guess, or do you want to just see the options?
I have no guess because I never heard.
No guess? Okay. By my pages! Is this a riddle? I guess so. I mean, it feels sort of forced, but maybe it's the key to getting out of this place. And I leave it to you to answer. There's the riddle again. And what is it? Is it a secret, a seesaw, or how should I know? Get it?
Seashore? Really?
I mean, seesaw isn't really wrong, I guess, but the classic answer to this riddle is a secret. 1 with it is lacking, if you're the only one with a secret.
Oh yeah, and if you're 2 with it, it's ideal, and with 3 it can be dangerous.
Yes. Inwardly furious that Vice left the task to him, Bruce sighed and gave the only answer that made sense. It's a secret. Right? The sound of the insect stopped as suddenly as it began. The forest undergrowth parted before Bruce like a rippling wave, opening a new path. These forest arthropods are making a road for us, said Vice with glee.
You sound like you're about to make a speech of I have a dream.
Something like that. I bet it was super fun for Liam O'Brien to record Vice's lines. Just go way overboard with the pompousness. It's fun.
You can hear the glee in his voice.
Yeah. Pleased at passing the test, Bruce moved on with new intensity. The path offered his body relief from the undergrowth, but gave even greater cheer to his mind. As long as they were on a path, their journey had a purpose. I guess the forest has accepted us, huh? Said Bruce after a bit. Vice spun around to face his companion. Do not mistake the will of this forest for some happy pet you can suddenly befriend. We have no idea where this path leads. As Vice finished speaking, the pair turned a corner and found themselves facing a clear forest spring. Smiling, Bruce picked up a small rock and sent it skipping across the surface of the water. Good heavens, said Vice. His surprise was understandable. Each time the rock struck the surface of the water, a musical note rang out. When the rock finally stopped moving and sank to the bottom of the spring, the ripples it left behind came together to form words. I enter through the window, but break no glass. When night falls, I vanish. What am I? Again, do you know the answer?
Sunlight.
Yes.
I was gonna say.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say sunlight.
Yeah.
Or else
Absurdly
it's
easy, barked Vice. Now answer it! Bruce grit his teeth and tried not to reach out and strangle his companion. He's right after all. This one is pretty easy.
How do you strangle a book?
Good question. I entered through the window, but yeah, reread it. And there it is.
Sunlight.
Sunlight. A plume of water suddenly burst from the spring. Sunlight filtered through the trees and reflected off the plume, creating a shimmering rainbow that spanned the entire horizon. In all my years, said Vice softly, I have never seen such a sight. Perhaps I don't know who's speaking. Perhaps I've misunderstood the intentions of this place. Hey look, cried Bruce, awaking Vice from his daze. There's a house or something over there. Glancing in the direction of his friend's extended hand, Vice saw a small cottage nestled among the trees. That's weird, isn't it, Vice? I mean, who would build a house all the way out here? Bruce walked over and pounded on the door. After a minute of solid banging, the door cracked open and a small man peered out. His body was cloaked from neck to toe in a large black cape, while his face was obscured by mist. Began Bruce, but before he could get any further, the cloaked man held a hand up and began speaking. And this one is the
I know
classic.
this one.
I have 4 legs in the
know
morning and 2 at noon, but end the night with 3. What am I? You know this one, I know for a fact, because we talked about it in Devil May Cry 3.
Yes.
Vargorm, do you know this one?
Yeah, a man.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the oldest riddle ever.
It's like the oldest.
It's these Sphinx's riddle.
Bruce tried to ask the cloaked man who he was and what he was doing there, but he simply repeated the question. If we wish to engage this man in conversation, said Vice, it seems we must answer his riddle. Yeah, I suppose it, Bruce, but at least it's an easy one. And, like we said, those are interesting options, demon, angel. The mist dissolved from the cloaked figure as he spoke a single word. Correct. With that, the man flung his garment aside, revealing his true identity. You're the mayor, cried Bruce. The small man slowly shook his head. I'm not the mayor you know. Now listen to my words. Long ago I saw a version of you that was not yourself. Sorry? What does that mean? It will make sense in time. At present, I simply congratulate you on cracking the seal of the Death Dream. Now you must go to the person at the forest entrance. With that, the man turned on his heel and slammed the door behind him. As Bruce watched, mist seeped up from the ground and enveloped the cottage, erasing it from existence. When Bruce and Vice returned to the forest entrance, they found the mayor leaning against a tree. As soon as he caught sight of the dude, he sprang to his feet and scrambled over to him. Good gravy, he cried. You made it! You actually made it back! His left hand grasped Bruce's and pumped it so fiercely it threatened to dislodge from the socket, while his right... Oops! It's fine. The Vargorm seized Vice or something. Gah, by the heavens, stop shaking me, fool! We have not even told you if we were successful or not. The mayor smiled broadly and shook his head. I'm just happy you're alive. I didn't think I'd ever see you again. Bruce withdrew himself from the mayor's eager handshake with a slight smile. We broke the Death Dream seal, he said. At least I think we did. The mayor's face beamed as Bruce filled him in on the details. When the tale was done, the three of them lay down on the forest ground and fell asleep. Bruce cocked his head. Okay, hang on a second. This is crazy. Why would we just lay down and go to sleep? Cease your endless prattle and go to sleep, fool. Fighting against the rules of this place is futility itself. Bruce and the mayor obediently reclined atop the grassy earth. Have you forgotten, continued Vice, it is words that control the Death Dream, words that allow us to move from place to place. No matter how unnatural they seem, the words are absolute. Therefore, if the words tell us to sleep, then sleep we shall. And once we do, the story will continue. With that, the trio found their eyes growing heavy, their breathing slowing. This is the first time, began the mayor, the first time I have felt tired since I was imprisoned here. His words were cut off by a loud, long yawn, and he remembered nothing more. They might have slept for an hour, or a year. When they awoke, things had a slightly more real quality to them. The mist felt thicker, the leaves greener. It was clear that they had awakened from their dream. Bruce shook the mayor's shoulder gently. Good news, he said. I think we made it. Oh, wow, said the mayor in an old voice. We did it. I'm back. He blinked once again, and then again, as if not quite believing the sight before him. You two have no idea how much this means. The Death Dream was spreading through our village, and I wanted to... Well, I thought I could figure out how to stop it, but I guess that wasn't the case. I must have caught the disease and become trapped in my own dream. The mayor started to stand, then collapsed back to the earth. He stared at his legs as if trying to remember how they worked, and glanced over at Bruce and shrugged. Without a word, the young man reached down and pulled the mayor to his feet. Real life might take some getting used to, said the mayor, as a wry smile crossed his lips. You shall relearn it in short order, I am sure, said Vice. For now, you should return to your home and rest. No, said the mayor, swaying on unsteady feet. No, I can't. Some of the villagers are still trapped in the Death Dream. I have to save them. The mayor slowly made his way to the divine tree in the center of the village and bowed his head and prayed silently. This is a holy tree, he explained, when the prayer was finished. It's the guardian of our village history and memories. Superstition will only make our mission harder, muttered Vice. We should not put our faith in the gods. The mayor shook his head. Not the gods, the words. Legend says that our tree is home to a powerful magic, known as a sealed verse. Bruce and Vice could not contain their surprise. It seemed that gold had been found in the most unexpected of places. I say, muttered Vice, this is certainly a stroke of luck. As the three of them said their goodbyes, Bruce mentioned the strange man who had given them the third riddle, and the mysterious words he had left them with. I once saw a version of you that was not yourself, muttered the mayor. Well, what in the world does that mean? That is important, though. Lost in thought, he stared into space for a long moment. You know, he said softly, this is going to sound odd, but I had a feeling I had seen you before too. Bruce tried to keep a straight face and failed, but the mayor didn't seem to notice. Deja vu, right? Anyway, I figured it's just some kind of illusion created by the Death Dream. It probably doesn't mean anything. Bruce gave the mayor a nod and a smile, but inwardly his thoughts were racing. There's something wrong about the mayor and his words. And what exactly is going on here? The riddle would prove to be the most difficult one of all.
Oh, thank you so much. Now I can finally return to a normal life.
This is one of the most bizarre diseases I have ever encountered.
I
You
know.
don't say.
That's why we have to help the other villagers, no matter what.
And now we have Dark Execution. Do you remember? We used that in the beginning. It is the one that sends spikes up from the ground.
Nice.
It's pretty decent.
For a sealed verse, that didn't take much effort.
Yes, all a touch too easy if you ask
I
me.
agree, right?
It's almost as if someone was guiding us to this village.
Don't overthink advice.
Nah, don't think about it, bro.
Don't think about it.
Don't think about
Okay,
it.
so that happened and I actually got sleepy for real.
Yeah, shit's dangerous. Yeah,
But it is a really good... It was really
Yeah,
good writing.
it is good writing, but who the fuck does that? How are you just gonna take your action 3D video game and just now we text adventure now?
Yeah.
So, you know what? I think this is a decent point
Yeah, this is a
to
decent
pause. So we're gonna be right back because there are 2 more villages whose streams we need to enter and save them, which we will do on the next episode.